Hello all, I am Matt the Frigid Gamer, and today I'm here to talk to you about a new mod included in FTB Horizons Daybreaker called Clockwork Phase. This wasn't actually that new, but it's part of the mod pack, and some things that you might find online with regards to how to do things have actually changed. So I'm going to do a quick tutorial on just basically how to build your first clockwork tool, the things you're going to need, and what to look for. So, stick around. Okay, so first things first. If you're going to get into Clockwork Phase, in order to get some of the tools going, the tools are extremely powerful if you're willing to invest the time and resources into making them, but you do need some stuff to get started first. Even making a basic tool, though, is really easy and doesn't require much resources, and basically allows you for a renewable, highly customizable tool, not unlike... I would compare it actually to Tinker's Construct, just in terms of the kind of stats that you can give it, not necessarily in the way that you can modify it, though. You're pretty much kind of stuck with what you have. So, the three things you're going to need primarily for just getting the tools up and running are going to be a clockwork assembly table, a winding box, and a disassembler. The clockwork assembly table is a very simple tool, or a very simple construct, I should say, using only wood and then any kind of iron gear from any kind of mod if you are using FTB Horizons Daybreaker. The next thing you're going to need is a winding box. Now, the winding box allows you to recharge your tools. In essence, restore their durability by simply right-clicking on them, and it'll restore a percentage of it. And the winding box is made simply by using 5 brass ingots and 2 iron ingots. Thankfully, because of FTB Horizons' use of brass, there are multiple recipes to get it, some that range from using copper and zinc, all the way up to using... there it is. Gold and iron. Now, of course, this recipe doesn't provide as many ingots, but you get the idea. At least you have selection available to you. And the final thing you're going to need is a disassembler. The disassembler just uses brass ingots in kind of a D shape. Unimaginative at the moment, but I'm sure that's going to change. And what the disassembler allows you to do is depiece your components in your clockwork, and then you can rebuild them. The reason why that's important is so that you can make tools that are upgradable later. So, let's place down our 3 tools that we are the 3 boxes that we need right now. Don't really need that. So we need assembly table, the winding box, and the disassembler. Now, thankfully, I happen to have a somewhat expired sword here. As you can see, it's not quite at full durability. We're missing some tension. Tension is what this mod uses here for resources on parts. So to restore the durability, I simply go up to the winding box and I right-click it. That was weird. It dropped down for a second. I can even right-click and hold to recharge it faster if I want. Now, every clockwork piece functions on 2 primary components: the internal clockworks and a main spring. Now, because this thing's already pieced together, I can actually depiece it by simply right-clicking on the disassembler. You'll notice I got a main spring and a clockwork out of it. Now, I can actually even take my clockwork one more step further. I can right-click the disassembler with it again, and all of the pieces I used to make my clockwork are now in my inventory. So let's rebuild our clockwork real quick here. So we go to the clockwork assembly table. This is our clockwork. To make a clockwork, all you need is any clockwork component. If you have even one, it'll make a clockwork with the exact quality of the whatever part you're using. In this case, a lead gear. I want to use all of the parts I was using before, so let us build our clockwork. These can go in any order, doesn't matter. Now, the way that this works is all of their components add together to make the clockwork in the center. So being as an emerald gear has speed of 60 and quality of 35, that all gets added together with all of these other parts, and the end result is a clockwork here that has a quality of 395 and a speed of 360 and 0 memory. Now, what each of these stats actually means is the quality is how fast a clockwork will consume tension in the tool. So how efficient it is in essence. Your speed is how fast the tool does what it does. So if you have a really high speed on a sword, it's going to deal a lot of damage. If you have a really high speed on a pickaxe, it's going to mine really fast. And memory is a unique component that I'm probably not going to get into in this tutorial, as that should be covered in its own unique tutorial with regards to getting temporal ingots and whatnot. This is just to build your first basic clockwork, and then from there you can experiment and find some pretty fun things out. It's just that there isn't really any kind of information available on how to do this at the moment. So once you have all your pieces in, you simply pull the clockwork out. And there, I have a clock for those statistics. And the main spring I'll get into in just a second. Oops, wrong one. That one. Now to put everything together, you click on the hourglass. And I have a sword here. Now if I'm ever making a clockwork sword, I just need some brass ingots, a stick, and a framework, which is a very basic construct, using 5 brass ingots and 4 iron ingots. Kind of a star shape. Once you have that, you take your clockwork sword. You can tell it can take a mainspring, and that it can take a clockwork because its tension is 0, 0, and its clockworks are all zeros. So, we put our sword on one side, and put the clockwork in the other, and we pull it out of the center. Now you'll see our clockwork stats are not 0, but our tension still is. I should also mention that these are interchangeable. I can do it on either side. So now this will boost my tension all the way up to 34,000. And as it was before, to wind it, you just right click and hold on a winding box. It does take a couple of seconds, but that's not too bad. And bam, we have ourselves a monster sword. So, let's begin building our pickaxe. Now I don't even have any components for this, except for this. Components that have memory are used to collect time sand, which allow you to transform your tools into temporal tools, and get deeper into the mod by getting temporal ingots. Pieces that have memory associated with them are extremely rare. By extremely rare, I mean mobs have about a 1% chance to drop them. The other option for finding temporal nuggets is sometimes you will get lucky, and down exploring caves in FTB Horizons Daybreaker, you can find temporal oreberry bushes, which grow in complete darkness and produce temporal oreberries, which to use, you just put them into any kind of furnace. I'll put them into an actual furnace. There we go. And they'll just smelt into a single temporal nugget. And I'm starting to get actually quite a nice collection of them. I'll be able to build myself a nice gear out of these things here later and get some more memory onto my pickaxe. We'll discuss memory here in a minute after we build our pickaxe. So, to build the pickaxe, we're going to need a clockwork and a mainspring. Let's build the mainspring first. Now, the mainspring is the part that you actually build inside of a crafting table. And it is simply a single stick surrounded by iron ingots. Now, that'll produce us a very, very weak mainspring with a tension of only 2,000. 2,000 tension is extremely poor. Now, don't worry about making a weak mainspring because you can always add to it later. In order to add to it, though, you need to go to the Clockwork Assembly table and click the icon that looks like a mainspring. Place the mainspring in the center over top of its icon, and then surround it with nearly any metal that you want. In this case, we're going to surround it with lead, and you click the mainspring button. Bam. We now have a tension of 14,000. That was only with lead, so that should tell you how low 2,000 actually is. We're going to leave it at 14,000 for right now. That's okay for what we're trying to do. Next up, we need to build a whole bunch of gears. And I mean a whole bunch of gears. So we're going to need a lot of sticks to do this. To make these special gears, you first have to decide what kind of a tool you want. So if I want to make a high-speed tool, like a sword that can only hit like 10 times maybe, but it's going to kill whatever it hits, I would use brass gears or silver gears. Or if I had the emeralds to expend, I'd use emerald gears. You saw earlier I actually did have an emerald gear inside my sword. Diamond gears have a very high quality and a pretty decent speed, so they're not a bad choice either. But all of the other gears have unique components and unique ways of doing things. For instance, lead gears have extremely high quality, but very, very low speed. So you kind of have to mix and match. There's also some gears that you can only find by looting or find them in dungeon chests, such as the rusty gear here, which provides memory, or the legendary gear up here, which provides a moderate stat boost in both stats as well as a really high chunk of memory. So let's begin constructing gears. All gears are constructed the same way for this mod, and they are simply these in kind of a cross pattern, with sticks in the corners, make us our gears. That will satisfy all of the speed that we need for our pickaxe. The remaining gears that I want are 1 diamond gear and 2 lead gears. So let's build our clockwork using our unique ancient coin, which, like I said, is a unique clockwork that you can find. So as you can see, I can already pull it out and it'll only have a memory. Silver gears, please. Our lone diamond gear. And our lead gears. Now, I still have room for 2 more clockwork pieces. Now, what that means is with this clockwork, I can disassemble it using the disassembler like I did before. I can reassemble it adding in the new clockworks. So these tools are highly customizable and easily upgradable without losing resources, which makes it extremely useful. So, now we can finally build our pickaxe. Let's build it. So we have our pickaxe, our mainspring, combine those together, gives us the clockwork pickaxe. And again, we need to do it again for the clockwork. Now, the memory portion of things in collecting time sand. As you can see right now, I have a chance of extracting time sand of 1 in 37. How this works is it's based on your player level. The higher your player level is, the better your chances are of finding time sand, and the more your memory is, the better your chances are of finding time sand. So because I'm at level 37 right now, I just, by happenstance, happen to have a chance of extracting time sand of 1 in 37. So out of every 37 blocks I mine, one of them will probably give me time sand. And like I said, time sand will allow me to use the temporal version of my tool, which can mine exceedingly faster, and when it goes temporal, I can also convert any kind of ore block into temporal nuggets. So, let's give this tool a quick try. Go down our little mining shaft here. If you're a regular on my YouTube channel, you saw there's a highlight of my friend accidentally falling to his death. Yeah. It's on my YouTube channel. Check it out. Marked as a snowblind highlight. Now, this tool mines very quickly, as you can see. I actually just got some time sand. And with all the blocks that have broken here, my tension has dropped down by about a third, a little bit less than a third. And because of that, it is working very, very well for me. Now, by pressing whatever you have set to your temporal ability, you can convert your pickaxe temporarily, for about 1 minute apparently, into a temporal tool. Now what this does is, as you can see, the icon changes, as well as its stats. Its quality and its speed improve by 3 times. That is massive! Now because of that, I can mine stupid fast, but unfortunately the temporal ability doesn't last very long. We'll be back here in just a second. I'm going to get a little bit more temporal, time sand. Yeah. I'm going to get a little bit more time sand, and then I'm going to show you its secondary ability. Okay, so once you've accumulated enough time sand, you switch your tool into temporal mode, like so, and you simply right-click on the ore you want to break. And we'll break that ore instantly and convert it into temporal nuggets. Not very many of them, but enough. It should also be noted that it takes 2 minutes worth of time sand in order to convert a single ore into temporal nuggets. Now then, you saw before that the pickaxe in temporal mode can be used to turn ore into temporal nuggets. The sword is a little bit different. The sword uses death to turn things into nuggets. By simply killing stuff, it uses 5 minutes worth of time, but will turn your kill into a temporal nugget. So you want really high levels of time sand accumulation in order to get these temporal nuggets. They are very useful. They are extremely useful, and they make extremely powerful gears for your clockwork as well as they're needed in order to progress into the late game stuff of the mod. And you do eventually gain systems to better produce them. So, with that, I would like to thank you all for stopping by and checking this out. I hope this was helpful to you, as it did take me a few minutes to figure it out on my own. But yes, all in all, I'm thoroughly loving Clockwork Phase, and I hope you will too. So, good luck, happy clockworking, and, well, have a good time.